So we are delighted to start the afternoon session of our forum today with the Minister of Shipping and Insular Policy, His Excellency Mr. Plakiotakis. As I mentioned to him, we know each other for quite some time. He has attended several of our forums, and we are absolutely delighted to welcome him now under his new capacity of Minister of Shipping and Insular Policy. Mr. Minister, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege for me to participate in such a distinguished event. And first of all, I would like to thank the organizer, Mr. and Mrs. Bornozi. They do have great experience in organizing such an event worldwide. So thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, initially I would like to thank Capital Link for inviting me to participate in the work of the 9th Annual Operation Excellence in Shipping Forum, and wish you all constructive conference from which I am sure that interesting conclusions will be drawn. The shipping industry is by far the most extrovert sector of the national economy, a leading global player and a major source of income, wealth, prestige, but mostly because of its strategic importance. Greek shipping leads the international shipping industry by providing high-quality maritime services with a modern fleet and operating with the most up-to-date management techniques and the highest safety and environmental standards. Greek ship owners control a total number of more than 4,930 vessels. The fleet controlled by Greek interest is at a record high. Greek-owned fleet ranks first, accounting for 20.9% and 53% of the global and the European Union tonnage, respectively. For a country like Greece, shipping is national capital. It's a national asset, as we say. Shipping and seafaring are in the DNA of Greece. Historically represent, it's a win case of our nation. And it's very important for us to change, first of all, the Greek register and lead a digital transformation by upgrading quality features. This is our first strategic priority. Only in this way, we will stop the flag drain and block the ships depart from it, and at the same time, create the condition that will pave the way for the return of the Greek ships back to the Greek flag. We have already begun the process of making access to the Greek flag a very easy, secure, and expeditious affair. The Greek shipping cluster is a uniquely successful bright spot in the Greek economy. More than 1,430 shipping companies active in ocean-going shipping, and further 3,674 maritime companies actively mainly in cabotage and short-sea shipping operate in Greece. Despite an economic landscape offering few investment incentives, the receipts in the service balance of payments from maritime transport are estimated at approximately 16.7 billion for 2018, representing 9% of the national gross domestic products. These days, the newly formed government of Kyriakos Mitsotakis, we are trying to give an incentive to new investments, to produce a friendly environment for investment, and this is our primary goal. We need to give a green signal to the global economy that Greece is changing. We are changing our framework. we are producing new investments the faster way, and we are moving anyhow very fast these days. The global economy is undergoing a period of change, and this has, during the recent years, a significant effect on the demand side for shipping services. Generally speaking, the shipping industry has, during the last years, been under pressure stemming from overcapacity, low freight rates, and higher banking costs, altogether influencing the economies of the industry. It is remarkable that in such challenging times, the figures of the Greek economy and the figures of particularly Greek shipping remain virtually unaffected. This is due to the professionalism and adaptability of the Greek shipping industry, which, in constant support from the Greek government, managed to respond to the challenges and look with optimism towards the future. Actually, the Greek ship owners are, besides the Greek government, they do play a primary role in the formation of the Greek shipping policy, and publicly I would like to applaud them and thank them for their contribution. Maritime transport services require a free and stable global regulatory framework guaranteeing the unrestricted and non-discriminatory access of vessels to the worldwide movement of cargoes in a genuinely competitive environment, which is not only to the benefit of the carriers, but also the consumers worldwide. It also requires uniform global rules about safety and protection of the marine environment. Of course, from the 1st of January, we'll have new environmental rules. And recently, I met the General Secretary of IMO, where I have expressed our worries regarding the efficiency, the adequacy, the quality of the new fuel. I hope everything will go well. Recognizing the contribution of shipping to the national economy and to our society, Greece supports on a constant basis shipping activities through a coherent institutional framework with positive measures aiming at fostering competitiveness of the maritime sector and cluster in the international scene. Sustainability and competitiveness are our key primary actions, not only for the Greek shipping industry, but for the global industry. Furthermore, the Greek Maritime Administration attaches great importance to further expand the maritime know-how, taking advantage of the talent of the Greek seafarers and their high professional expertise. The efficiency in the provision of shipping services and adherence to the international IMO standards on safety, security, and environmental performance underline the quality characteristics of Greek shipping. Those elements constitute solid foundation for the future of our shipping. With regard now in terms of the maritime education, the enhancements and modernization of maritime education is a high, to my personal experience, I think it's the most important factor in the Greek, not only in the Greek shipping, for the global shipping, is a high priority for our government, for our ministry, as well as the revival of the Greek seafaring. The maritime know-how we possess as a nation must be preserved, and there must be a sufficient number of highly trained officers. At the same time, the maritime profession, even in the lower crew, and here is the bucket, can be a way out of the high unemployment that exists in our country. In this context, a holistic plan is needed to address the weakness of the existing maritime education system. At the same time, we should not demonize private nautical training. This is what they do other competitive maritime nations. So, neighboring countries like Cyprus or Bulgaria, without our own maritime tradition and know-how, have established private maritime academies, and it is regrettable that Greeks do choose to study there, as in Greece, the maritime academies accept a limited number of essays and lag behind in the number of teachers and infrastructures. Soon we'll change this. Tangible proof of what I've said, the first actions of the Ministry of Maritime Affairs and Insular Policy, we inaugurated the Executive Training Center of Mercantile Navy in Macedonia, which started operating immediately, while in parallel with the valuable contribution of the Hellenic Shipowner Association. Publicly, I want to thank them for their contribution. We renovate most of the premises of the Mercantile Marine Academy of Aspropyrgos, which were damaged by the recent earthquake. At the same time, we are immediately setting up a law-making committee whose task is the complete modernization of the marine education in Greece through a holistic approach that takes into account the new environment of the ship's interconnection with the company. Also, there must be links between the university and the academies. This is very crucial and important too. We are enhancing maritime education disciplines by creating new section of expertise already required in the modern merchandise ship, while at the same time creating a new section of boat rulers, as we consider maritime tourism to be of particular importance to the national and especially to the local economy. As far as the port policy is concerned, we will be not tired of pointing out that our ports can and should evolve into locomotives of the national and the regional economy. Our ports are strategically landed, and also I would like to state that because of our ports are in the middle of three continents, Europe, Asia, Africa, they can certainly produce and work as hubs. To do this, we are changing the port policy of our country. Already, soon our National Development Fund, I've asked them to submit feasibility studies on this project, particularly for our 10 main ports. The PPA, also in Piraeus Port, has, I'm sure pretty soon will be approved their new master plan, a new improved 800 million euro investment master plan, which is expected to be approved by Friday. I hope very soon we will see that the start of the necessary work in Piraeus pretty soon. Also, in Thessaloniki, there is an investment plan of 300 million, making the ports in Thessaloniki a high-profile international trading hub. As I said, we have requested from the Hellenic Republic Asset Development Fund, and very soon, in October, we will have in our hands viability studies of the remaining 10 ports companies, and there are no prerequisites. So we will examine every port is a separate case for us, preserving, of course, investments, preserving public incomes, preventing jobs. These studies will show us both the appropriate model of modernization and the future of each port separately. It follows the overall reorganization of port policy service structures to achieve economies of scale by significantly reducing the cost of the public sector while curing overlapping responsibility. With regard to the maritime tourism, actually I do believe very much in the maritime tourism, especially the yachting sector. The characteristics of Greece, a magnificent Polynesia, offer huge prospects for growth and a decisive contribution to the country's GDP in the area of maritime tourism. The only solution to the uninterrupted development of this wealth-producing sector of the economy is the immediate adoption of a modern and simple legislative framework that will not create problems but will provide solutions while simultaneously changing the mindset and the industrialization of the industry. The purpose of our intervention is the liberation of the powers of the maritime tourism, the creation of national wealth and income, the development of the related craft and industry of the industry, and all related activities, marinas, hotels, lodging, shops, restaurants, transports, and the multiplication of jobs by a purely exported economic activity, and ultimately the decisive contribution to the growth of the domestic GDP, which is our national target. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just some of the policy points that we have been pursuing at the Ministry of Maritime and Island Policy. We only have 2.5 months. For the past 2.5 months, as I said, the higher the level of our maritime executives, always combined with the innate maritime we carry on our DNA, the more secure our future will be. So it is our debt not only to preserve our lives, but also to prepare future generations. Thank you very much for your attention.